This video is all about the campfire rules. Rules aren't boring, rules are fun. We need to have rules to make sure the campfire is safe. Kids are really excited about campfires, they're really cool things. We're not the kind of organisation that says kids can't have campfires. A little bit of risk done in a safe way is a really good thing. It helps kids kind of explore their environment and learn what's safe and what's not. But we need to make sure as for grown-ups that we're managing risk safely, and that's why we have the campfire rules. So whenever you go and do a campfire with kids, one of you always needs to sit the kids down and talk through the rules at the start. Do it nice and calmly and clearly, make sure they understand, and then you can get on with the activity. Rule number 1. When we're around the campfire, we need to be calm. We can't play that close to the campfire. We can play near the campfire, but the area just around the campfire needs to be for calmness, no running, no pushing. If someone tripped and fell, landed face first in the campfire, bad news and many accident forms all around. So simple, clear rule, we must tell the kids to stay back and not get too close to the campfire, except for when they're putting wood on the fire. Rule number 2. When putting wood on the fire, we need to use the fire gloves. It's a good thing for kids to be involved with the fire. They can put wood on it, but they need to use the fire gloves. And that's just because otherwise accidents happen, people get burnt. If you put your hand on the fire this distance, it kind of starts to feel a bit uncomfortable without a glove. Any closer, I'm going to know that's too hot and I'm not going to do that. But you can see, fire glove's not going to set on fire, it's perfectly safe. The one thing to watch though, fire gloves don't set on fire, but jumpers and hair do. So just make sure if kids are doing that they're not leaning over and bits of their clothing isn't getting in the fire. Rule number 3, placing wood on the fire, not throwing it on the fire. So sometimes kids will want to put wood on the fire. What we can't do is throw it on the fire, because if we did, it might bounce off and hit someone else, or we might knock other wood that's already on the fire and already aflame into someone else, sets them on fire, disaster. So we don't do that, but we can place wood on the fire. It's good for the kids to be involved. So if you're wearing your fire glove, remember rule number 2, then kids can place wood on the fire. So calmly, if they move their hand into the fire and literally, because the fire glove's not going to set on fire, place it on, no problem. That also means you actually get a better fire because the wood's kind of going where it needs to go to keep the fire going. Campfire rule number 4. We always need to have an adult in charge of the fire. So the kids can help, but there always needs to be an adult around the fire. So once the fire's lit, even if it's other activities going on, an adult needs to be there. The other helpers can be with the kids. There always needs to be as well some water by the fire. So normally you'll have a big bucket. If not, there'll be a bottle like this. And that's obviously in case there's a disaster, something happens, we can very quickly put the fire out. If you've got a young person like this one, who's not listening to the rules, then when you explain the rules, you do need to kind of just pause and without shaming, we never shame kids, we never tell kids off in front of other kids, it's not going to work. But one of the other helpers needs to kind of quietly take that kid off, sit them down and kind of get them calm, and then they need to come back later and have the rest of the rules explained to them. And if the whole group's not listening, you just need to pause and get them calm again before we can carry on. And if you're in control of the wood and you're in control of the matches and the fire lighters, then the fire isn't going to go anywhere, unless they are listening. So that's the way to manage a fire. Make sure you've got an adult in charge and the other adults can manage the kids elsewhere. Okay, rule number 5. We can toast marshmallows. Everyone loves a marshmallow. Marshmallow. But what you need to be careful of, whenever kids have got sticks in the fire like this, you must tell them when we lift it out of the fire, you lift it up and kind of to your mouth like this, not kind of to the side, because that could go quite badly wrong. Fire stick in Tina's eye, not good. Health and safety, negative. So up to mouth, not to the side. If kids are kind of wanting to make kind of fire sticks where they kind of make the ends glow and swirl them around, again, make a judgment call whether you want to allow that. It's fine for kids to have fun and learn how to be safe around the fire. So if it feels safe and if the kids are listening, maybe introduce that later on. But again, maybe 1 or 2 at a time, carefully walk out of the circle, do it over there. No spinning fire sticks near the fire, or death might happen. So at the end of the day, you've had a nice fire, it's time to put it out. Rule number 6 is we must always leave a fire in a safe way. If you're camping and you've had a fire of an evening and you put the kids to bed with a story, it's kind of fine to leave the fire going while you're having your story, so long as it's not a blazing inferno. Because as helpers, you might want to come and kind of sit by it afterwards once the kids have gone to bed. But when you go to bed, or if for any reason you're kind of leaving and you're packing up and going back to base, you need to make sure the fire's out. So to do that, just use a stick and kind of pull the fire slightly to one side so it's not a kind of raging fire, nice and spread out. You could leave it to go down like that overnight, but if you're leaving or if for any reason you want to put it out properly, use your water. Don't lob it on, and don't do it when the kids are too close because the steam will come up. Just gently pour it on and the fire's out. You get covered in ash.